You kind of almost gain a whole new appreciation for the band in putting something like that together on an album. Thursday night, it's Thursday night, it's Thursday night, it's Thursday night. Huh? Right? Wow. What do you think of that for a theme song?
Is it like you're gonna get sued?
Thursday night, it's Thursday night. Why? What is Nazareth. That? Isn't that original?
Sounds like Hair of the Dog to me.
Oh, you caught me. I guess you caught me. Yeah,
I caught you.
Sure is.
I'm extremely interested to hear what you have to say about this record. And can I guess?
Yeah, you can, absolutely.
I don't think you're gonna like it very much. It's funny because it comes at a funny time, and I did this on purpose. Okay, because we just did Queen, which was an extremely colorful and vast record.
Life-changing album.
Yeah.
It was like an out-of-body experience.
And truly one of the best rock and roll records, if not one of the best records really ever. Like, I will say it's one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
Sheer Heart Attack, Queen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Now, this one kind of swings over to, the opposite end of the spectrum. Recorded, I think, in 1975. It's kind of from a darker corner of rock. Not nearly as colorful as a Rush or a Queen, but substantial and important in its own way. And I wanted you to hear it. I didn't think you were going to like it. I think you'll like aspects of it, but I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about this. I don't think you're going to be thrilled about it.
I've been obviously over the last few episodes, I've been like, well, coming off of this and coming off of that, it was tough to get into because this and whatever. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you picked like the perfect album to go to after Sheer Heart Attack. This was just like, it was just rock and roll, man. Like it was That's just, right. It's just like actually really cool riffs. I mean, Hair of the Dog, we all know the tune. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it beforehand, but I'd heard this song before, but that was fun. It was fun just to like hear that riff again. And actually, you know what? I was pleased with this record. I was pleased.
Good.
So good. I don't not like it. I'm not like over the moon about it, but I can't be like, oh, coming off Queen, it was real. I'm not like that. I don't feel like that. I feel like this was like, okay, cool. We kind of, went back to the nitty gritty, the pick and shovel, as you call it.
That's right. This is pick and shovel rock. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. That's kind of exactly what I was thinking. I thought you were going to like it a little bit less, but okay. I'm glad that you don't, because I really like this album. This is Nazareth's finest work. It's the best record.
That's what I'm hearing. And I know This Flight Tonight, which I understand is a Joni Mitchell cover, and I know Razmanaz. So I got a little bit of that, but it was really cool actually to have a full album of Nazareth. And I think I might be surprising you a little bit on my reflection on the album, only because again, I think I had to like just drop standards a little bit coming off of Sheer Heart Attack.
Well, you're right. And we talked about that previously about the Metallica thing, right? And not comparing. So like, but it's hard not to, right? That's tough. So you almost have to isolate these records individually and say, so how did this record make me feel?
Yeah, totally. And this, to me, I just had fun. I had fun with it. And like I said, Hair of the Dog kicking it off actually got me pretty excited for the rest of the album. And what comes with it is also actually pretty pleasantly surprising. So yeah.
So Nazareth, like I said, from one of the darker corners of rock, but popular, like Hair of the Dog. So funny because Dan McCafferty is the vocalist, and his vocals are not for everyone, right? It's a Brian Johnson kind of Axl Rose type approach. And funnily enough, Axl Rose patterned his vocal approach after Dan McCafferty. He was a big Nazareth fan. to the point where they covered Hair of the Dog on Spaghetti Incident, but also he invited Nazareth to play at his wedding. Believe it or not, they declined.
Why did they decline?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Flights were too expensive, probably. Yeah. Scotland to LA, just couldn't afford it.
An important band, not a massively popular band, not maybe up there with the Rush or a Queen, but
right,
an integral band.
I heard the name. I've heard the name. Like I said, I know those other tunes, and they've never just been top of mind for me to check out. So I'm glad I got to check them out here, and maybe I'll go listen to some older stuff. But yeah, like, I guess where do they fall in this world of rock and roll? You know what it just made me realize too, though, was still how amazing the music was that was coming out of the 70s. Like, when this is a band that's like, you know, and I even think back, and we talked about this on the last episode, I just talked about how I was getting into Rush again. When I think about Rush's first album, like Rush's first album is an album that bands would aspire as a rock and roll band to making. Is that album, and then Rush would go on to make almost completely different type of rock and roll, obviously prog rock afterwards. And then I think about this album and this band kind of being, like you said, important, but like not really being top of mind, and kind of only coming out and shining with this album. And even still, you're like, geez, I'd love to make this music. Like, how does Nazareth like? I just, you know, when you start thinking about the music of this time, how they just kind of like, to me, in my opinion, is just like sort of like sit under the radar almost.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very accurate. It's true. They did sit under the radar. And I mean, I don't know. I kind of like that about them. Yeah. You know, they can remain your band if you like them. They totally. Kind of, you know, I think, you know, after this record, they didn't do a whole lot. This came out in 75, and I think they were done by like 79 or 80. Like, I mean, in terms of like important stuff. But a great record just to put on and listen to.
And another example of this is your last shot under a record label, you know, or this is the last album that we're going to fund for you. Or like, you know, the same thing with Rush and 2112. You know, it's like that whole, you've only got one, we're only going to do one more. So there's one last chance, and then you come out with something like this, and then it's like kind of revitalizes you.
That's right.
And keeps you going. And just kind of crazy that those are the circumstances in which you end up putting a record like this together.
And funny that, you know, you talk about that sort of thing, success and pressure. Love Hurts was not on this record. One of the, if not I think it's their biggest hit, really. I mean, Hair of the Dog's big hit, but like Love Hurts is a cover song. Everly Brothers did it. Yeah. But it was an add-on. It was this album originally had a song called Guilty. And that was a Randy Newman cover. And it was like this kind of slide guitar thing. And then the producer, I think, or somebody at the record company heard Love Hurts. They were just going to release it separately. And they said, no, you got to get this on the record. And they pulled Guilty and put Love Hurts on. A funny story about the title, though, of Hair of the Dog. So it's, you know, everybody thinks the song's called Son of a Bitch. Right. Because of the refrain.
I know.
But it's kind of a play on words. It's, they couldn't call it Son of a Bitch. The record company said, no, we're not putting that out. And they said, okay, we'll call it Hair of the Dog, as in HEIR. Right. Okay. And then they said, well, it's kind of like Hair of the Dog, you know, the hangover cure and stuff like that. So there's all this word play going on, and they're just being clever. But yeah, they wanted to call it Son of a Bitch. They wanted to call the record Son of a Bitch.
I love that take on the Hair of the Dog and the play on words, Hair of the Dog. You know who did that as well later on? The Hip, Tragically Hip, with Road Apples.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, because they originally wanted to call that album Saskadelphia, which they've now released, and they called it, I guess, because they never knew where they were. They were touring so much, they didn't know if they were Saskatchewan or Philadelphia, so they wanted to call it Saskadelphia. The record label said no, and so they said, well, that's horse shit. So another term for horse shit is road apples.
Road apples. Yeah.
So they said that, and one of your guests, Jake Gold.
That's right.
He told it that he sold the record label on the fact he's like, no, road apples, like stories from the road. That's really what it's like. And it's like,
isn't that so funny? And they're like,
love it.
That's brilliant.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's exactly it. Really, they're just like, man, that's horse shit, Yeah. So I love that.
That's perfect. Gord Downey, Tragically Hip, like like humor, right? Like it's just like so perfect.
Yeah. Like F you. No way you're you want to tell us? Fine. Then here's our backhanded humor.
Let's go through the songs here. And there's a couple that I really, really love.
Okay.
We're going to touch on those too. But like Hair of the Dog starts. Guns N' Roses covered this tune.
Right. You said the spaghetti incident.
Cool thing, if you listen closely, check your bingo card. At the very end of the Guns N' Roses cover on the spaghetti incident, you hear... It's supposed to be the Hair of the Dog riff, do 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 do, but a Slash actually plays Day Tripper by the Beatles because the riffs are so similar that there's only a couple notes that are different. So the song is over and he plays the Day Tripper riff, and then you hear Duff laugh, and then the song ends.
I love it. It's a great rock and roll tune, but it might even be like my song of the summer 2022.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. I know it's an old song. I know it's one everybody knows, but it's fun. It's fun.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's heavily touted as one of the greatest 70s hard rock songs. Because ideally it's perfect, really, right? But just the crunchy chords, the cowbell, that great riff, great vocal. Now, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Does McCafferty's vocal... are you good with it, or does it get on your nerves?
It's funny. It's almost like, yes, it's fine. But it's almost like I've been conditioned up to this point with the vocals that I have been hearing. Even between Brian Johnson and Bon Scott and Axl Rose, like leading up to this, is almost kind of like my ears are kind of like damaged. So it's kind of like that's familiar. So you're ruined. No, that's I don't know. It works for me. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. A lot of people are kind of off put because they are very harsh.
Yeah. Oh my God. Spacing. Obviously this is going to happen now. It gave me Whitesnake lead singer.
Coverdale.
Give me Coverdale vibes.
You forgot Axl Rose's name in the Appetite.
I heard an interview that oh my God.
What's the matter? What happened?
I just totally spaced on the lead singer of Guns N' Roses.
Axl Rose, you ding dong.
Okay, hold on, I gotta cut this. Yeah,
no, you're not cutting this out. You have to leave that in. You totally have to leave this in.
David Coverdale. I got some Coverdale vibes from him. Maybe Deep Purple Day Coverdale vibes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't hear that. I just hear a lot of Brian Johnson. For casual, passive fans, you might mistake it for AC/DC in some spots.
You could, Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, the difference in riffs is quite something, in my opinion, right? It's they're distinct. They're distinctly different from each other. In the sense that the AC/DC riffs are very fluid, like legato, kind of bluesy. And Naerosmith's, or what did I say? Did you hear what I said there?
You said Aerosmith. Fuck you, I'm leaving that in.
But I didn't even say Aerosmith. I said Naerosmith. Like Nazareth Smith.
Naerosmith. Wow. Yeah.
See, this is a commercial for Basil Hayden, clearly.
Yeah, gotta give me another one of those.
Urban.
That's for sure.
Now, what was I saying? I just completely
Nazareth, legato, staccato.
Right. Metal riffs ish, like Judas Priest, almost like chug 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 chug, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still have such a hard time thinking, because I read someone that said like, this was when I really got into heavy music, was listening to Nazareth. And I just find it so funny when like these songs, like even AC/DC is considered heavy, like in any way, you know, it's just funny, like because of what's out today, you know, like there's so much heavier stuff that like when I think of this music being heavy, I'm like, you need to listen to Children of Bodom.
Oh God. Yeah, no kidding. Right? Children of Bodom. Christ.
But that is funny. Good riffs. Good riffs actually kind of throughout this album.
Oh yeah. I'm so glad you agree, because that's my favorite thing about this record is the riff. Yeah. Like it just, man, it's so strong.
Totally.
Yeah.
Miss Misery. Go ahead. Yeah.
Right. No, I was just going to say, like, the next track, Miss Misery, is just an amazing, crunchy guitar tour de force.
And like singable tunes as well, right? Like you want to sing along to, you know, some of these as well. They make them easily singable. So
the only kind of complaint I have about this song is that if you listen, the last 4 bars, they don't need to be in there. I think the last kind of little bit, last 40 seconds is like this kind of like very quiet bell tone guitar, which is kind of nice. It's a nice outro. But the last 4 bars of this song, it almost sounds like McCafferty's out of gas. And I don't know why, because it's like the 3rd time they do the chorus. They could do it 2 and then just be out. I don't know. It's always irritated me. Just the way that he sings it, it sounds like he's like, okay, is it over yet? And it just, they should have just like taken that piece out.
Good tune, Miss Misery. Well, it's cool. It's a cool tune.
Tune. Good. I'm glad that you like this. I didn't think you were going to like it that much.
Yeah, I know.
Now, Love Hurts is, what do you tell me what you think of this?
I had to put myself back into 1975. I had to remember where I was at in 1975. Really, I think, to appreciate the song.
Yeah, I know the song.
Where was I in 1975? You don't know? You don't know? I was there.
I feel like I do.
I was there, man. I was there. Love Hurts. Yeah, I know the song. I heard the song. It's kind of like a love song, I guess, or not love, heartbreak song, you know, that I could see it really resonating with teens of the 70s, or, you know, people that like were going through something. I totally get that. That. And, you know, to have a rock band like this singing it, you know, to be into rock and roll like this, there was always, I feel like, that love aspect, right? That relationship aspect. So I think this song probably meant a lot for a lot of people in 75.
Yeah. Some people didn't care for it because they thought that this was an otherwise great record, and that this song didn't fit. I think it does fit, but it always kind of struck me as this very acrid, kind of painful song.
We'll put the definition of acrid in the lower bar. See the definition of acrid below.
Just there's something very unsettling about this song for me. And I don't know if it's the kind of, you know, melody with that vocal on top of it, and it just there's a painfulness about this song that always, you know, and I have no personal connection to it whatsoever. I mean, you heard it at the school dances and stuff like that, but I didn't really, there was no relation on my part to it, but it just always struck me as a very painful song.
Yeah, I think this is, like, you're right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of pain in it too, and as he sings the word pain. But, you know, I think it is sung very well for, and really presents actually a lot. Yeah, like a lot of emotion, like you said, a lot of heart in this one. It feels like
certainly there's a lot of sentimentality. It's a genuine performance, I think, on his part. And
feels like it. Yeah,
he sounds wounded, like he truly does. You know?
Yeah. Changing Times.
Love. Probably favorite song on the record.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Look at you. That's cool.
Oh, the riff. There's two great riffs, right? The intro riff, which is cool. Do, 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 do. But the chorus riff, almost like a Judas Priest kind of staccato, like chug, 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 right?
Okay.
It's just so catchy. Like this is the song that I want to hear when I'm driving in my car. I would loop this riff for like hours.
Great driving tunes. Great cruising album. Totally.
Yes.
Maybe not Love Hurts, but definitely great, great cruising album. Again, like you said, great riffs. It's actually really cool. It's the way he sings the verses in between, I like it.
The outro is cool too, right?
Yes.
It reminds me of that Heart song that we talked about that I don't remember the name of, but the outro actually starts in the beginning or in the middle of the song. Right. But it just goes through. But it's cool enough so that, it works.
Yeah. 6-minute song. And I think there's a lot of, same with like, Please Don't Judas Me, sort of like that. There's a lot. We'll get there, obviously. But there's a lot of time kind of just between verse and end of the song or whatever it is in the end of the song. So,
But it doesn't feel like it's too long.
It might.
Does it?
It might feel a little too long for me. Yeah.
Millennial.
Get out of here. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. We've been through Rush. Okay. Don't give me. That's
a good point.
Give me this. All right. Okay.
I accept that.
I've been through some long stuff. Megalomania, big fan, So
wow,
I'm just
pulled that one into your hat. Reach into your hat there.
You just
pulled that like Megalomania. You just yanked that out from Sabotage.
It's a long tune, but great tune. So
good for you, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I've over the course of the show, I've proud papa moments where you because you before we started. No, it's kind of funny, right? It sounds stupid, but I love that you're just yeah, man, Megalomania. Yeah.
It's what comes just top of mind. It's just it's the first thing I think of.
So great.
Yeah. But it's great riff, change times, and
love.
Kind of singing about the woman he's with changing. She's changing, and I'm trying to break it down a little bit here, but it's kind of seems like this ongoing theme in this album too. Is sort of like
difficulty with females.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
It's 75.
That's why they put Love Hurts on there.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
McCaffrey. I don't know who was writing the lyrics for these guys. I don't know if it was McCaffrey or what, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
a lot of difficulty.
This was also Roger Glover, I guess, produced a lot of their other stuff. Not this one. This was the bass player.
No, you know who this was? This Manny Charlton was the guitar player. He produced this. This is the first time he stepped in to produce. Glover did all their other records, or 3 of their previous records. Interestingly enough, Manny Charlton produced a couple of songs leading into Appetite for Destruction for Guns.
Oh, wow.
In 86. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. They didn't end up using him, but he did songs like Shadow of Your Love. And that sort of thing.
Beggar's Day is another sweet riff, and really fun tune. Actually, really had fun with Beggar's Day.
This is probably the closest they get to AC/DC on the record. I want to say this sounds like a Brian Johnson song to me.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And there's a little bit of Aerosmith swing in here too. I feel like.
Totally.
Yeah, this is a good song.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Love. And the little part B of it, Rose in the Heather.
Rose in the Heather.
Yeah. So it kind of devolves into this acoustic, really beautiful, kind of mellow passage.
Now, do you think they split this up into 2 songs for publishing?
Those buggers.
Maybe.
So before the show, we were talking about, just so everybody's clear, we were talking about how Black Sabbath had this little trick, and they did it on the first record for sure, and did it on a couple of others, I believe. They took songs and broke them into pieces so that they could capitalize on publishing. So instead of having 1 song that they collected publishing on, they would get 3. So they did that with like Rat Salad and a bit of Finger, and
Wow.
So it's a interesting little scam.
Totally.
I don't know, maybe these guys did that too. Who knows?
Could have. It was really cool actually to hear Rose in the Heather come in on this album. Never would have guessed that something like this would live on it. And this is part of like what I was talking about before, where like, you ask like, what do you learn? I'm like learning so much that like there's so much more music to these bands than just what you hear on the radio. And if you only listen to what's on the radio, you don't go into their albums or things, you never hear Rose and the Heather from Nazareth, where you're like, what? Like this is crazy. And you kind of almost gain a whole new appreciation for the band in putting something like that together on an album.
Well said. And that is one of my favorite things about doing the show, is that I always wanted to kind of shout from the rooftops, look beyond the greatest hits.
Yeah.
Listen to the albums. Like there is gold in these things, right? And that's why I picked this one, because in my opinion, it's their best record. But like songs like Changing Times and Rose and the Heather, like you might not, Nazareth for This Flight Tonight, and Razamanaz, right? Or Shanghai and Shanghai, whatever. But like, there's good stuff underneath those.
I will say that like, like Rose and the Heather feels like I could have come up with the guitar solo. There's some good solos on this album, but they're also very, as I said, of Kiss pedestrian riffs. There's also some very pedestrian guitar solos on here. And I think Rose and the Heather is sort of a good example of that, because it's a little, it feels like it's like, go play something to this. And it was kind of like, all right, maybe this will work. It just feels like a little,
It's in the same kind of motif as Tenement Funster to Flick of the Wrist, right? So it's a song that is like, up tempo, and then it kind of slides into this kind of, mellow, more kind of atmospheric thing. And it's a poor man's version of it. That's not to say that it's like bad, because I actually really enjoy it. But you're right, it's more simplistic for sure. Keep in mind though, Alex, this is 75, right? So who's out there? Page is out there. Zeppelin's at their height right now in 75, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Beck is out there.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix just had done his turn, right?
Right.
And I mean, people talk about Clapton, but I don't care about that guy at all.
Right.
And
well,
really,
Townsend, right?
But not a soloist. He didn't play great leads, right? Like so there wasn't a lot of virtuosity going on. It wasn't until Eddie Van Halen a couple of years later came on the scene and really kind of, pulled everybody up. He was like the high tide that raised all ships, right? There were a couple of other guys.
Well, Mick Joe Perry Ronson was in and around this time too, right? And Toys in the Attic came out.
Yeah, Perry was out there. There was good players, but they were all in like bands like Humble Pie and Uriah Heep, and there weren't a lot of guitar heroes per se.
Right.
So it wasn't
James
like,
Gang.
10 years after where everybody really upped their game because you had to, or you got left behind.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. It's like, put me in my place. I feel that.
No, it's just, I always think about this stuff because you have to give latitude, right? These records this record was made, almost 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So I always try to listen with that in mind.
Yeah, no, and that's a fair point. And part of what I want to start doing a little better job of is looking at what else came out at the same time as the records we're listening to, and kind of getting a sense of really what was happening and at that time. So and obviously a lot of what we've been talking about have been 70s stuff. Obviously we have some 80s and a few 90s, but majority of what we've been listening to has been 70s, and I mean something pretty good. So
yeah. What's the next song after this?
Whiskey Drinking Woman.
That's right.
It's fantastic.
I like this. Yeah, it's a shit kicker song again, right?
Totally.
It's just what you see is what you get.
it's like when Ice Cream Man comes up out of nowhere in Van Halen, you know?
That's right.
That's like you get whiskey drinking woman, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's true, actually.
there you go. Yeah.
It's just like super simple, right?
Yeah.
But it's good. I like the, it's kind of very like 70s. It's representative of the ethos of 70s hard rock almost perfectly. It's just got that kind of swagger, you know, it's not too serious. It's just like, you know, we hear a little bit of like Leonard Skinner in there.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. I love it.
Totally love it. Interesting. Again, another whiskey drinking woman, another song about having troubles, it sounds like, with women.
See?
Yeah. And like pretty serious problems. She's a whiskey drinking woman. And
well, what are the lines? Like she's bottles like all over the house. She's even got a couple in the bed. Like she's got
like all over the place. Yeah. Gonna make a poor man out of him.
That's right.
Poor guy. And then Please Don't Judas Me was also another like kind of interesting surprise to hear from the band. This
for me is a bit of a clunker. Now,
I
will say, I don't know if you needed it. You know, it's very long. I don't know if it needs to be that long. First of all, it's kind of, you can tell it's experimental. There's like some tabla instrument on it or something weird. And I don't know, it just never really kind of takes off, you know? It's like it just is crawling and crawling and crawling, and you're like, wow, like you may as well just turn the record off, you know? I imagine hearing this on vinyl and going, like, when is it going to be over?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was kind of cool. I agree, like, it didn't need to be nearly 10 minutes long. Mm-hmm. But, you know, again, the guy clearly had something he wanted to say. You know, he was going through something. I don't know, or whoever it was. Maybe he wasn't going through anything, but it just feels like there was something he wanted to sing about, something that was happening to him, and it came out in this song. And they kind of just put a really cool instrumental to it, and that kind of gets to that buildup of like everybody singing like, don't you? You know, it's kind of like don't do this to me. So it's another one, like Love Hurts feels like it was really like heartfelt, and there was something further to what the song was.
Look at you. Good for you.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome. No, really. I just never really, you know, the last time I heard this song, I liked it more than I did previously, but I don't know. I just didn't, it's too plodding for me. It's a bit of a clunker.
Yeah.
But great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I should go back and listen to it again.
So, you know, I was thinking about it, and I feel like maybe I'm being too free with my 5s. I'm probably going to go with 4.
I would give this a 4.
I could probably go with 4 on this because, you know, it's cool. It's not great, but I love Hair of the Dog. I think the riffs are good. But, you know, I'm just, So I don't know what the but is, but 4. I think I'm overthinking it. I'm starting to overthink it. So
you are.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is like think about what you think of the record, and again how it makes you feel, and then don't go any further. And just say, okay, out of 5, what's that worth to me?
Yeah. All right.
It's worth 4. Yeah. And don't be if you give 5 5s away in a row, that doesn't matter either.
Yeah.
Right. If it's and also another factor. I'm not giving you duds here. Like these are records they're good records. You know, this one is a little bit like as we said, under the radar.
Yeah.
But this is I almost said it again, Naerosmith. This is Nazareth's best record.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of some good records.
Very true. Very, very, very true. All right. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to go on so long about ratings.
Called Naerosmith.
And
it'll be like a Nazareth Aerosmith tribute
cover band.
You have to sing though, because it's hard, man.
It's hard.
It's not easy, man.
Can I say that a couple times?
Yeah. It's not easy, man. Like I said, I thought he was going to cry. I'm like, what are you going to cry? It's not easy, man. You try it.
Big baby. Cool. Cool. Nazareth, hair of the dog. Cool.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
You bet. Pleasure.
Well, it's a little bit easier to follow up something like this, I think. What are you thinking for the follow-up?
How about we jump ahead a little bit?
Okay.
And we do something that's similar,
Like
but in a
2010?
different vein.
2015?
No. No, 80s. Let's do The Cult, Electric.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Electric by The Cult.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What do I know by The Cult?
Love Removal Machine.
Nope, don't
Peace
know that
Dog.
one. Nope, don't know that one.
Come on.
What do I know by The Cult? What is The Cult?
You will next week.
Don't Fear the Reaper?
That's Blue Oyster Cult, you ding dong. Are you joking?
Yeah. No.
You better be joking.
No, I knew it. I knew it was Blue Oyster
Don't
Cult,
fear
but I knew it
the
had
Reaper.
cult in there, so I had to be like, ooh. Yeah. Had to pull a funny. Okay, cool. The Cult. I don't think I know anything about The Cult. Maybe one song.
Electric. You're going to dig that. It's a great record. I think you're going to like it.
All right. I'm probably going to hate it. Can't wait.
Better not.
Better not.
I'm quitting the show if you hate it.
Stop it. We're getting a picture next time we see each other in person, Brent.
Yes, we are. We have to do that.
Can't believe it. Just a quick little thing, even if it's just like a quick little and it's blurry, and it happened. So
I'm with you.
all right. Okay, man.
I'm with you, brother.
See you next time for The Cult.
You bet.
A
Here's to you
personality.
and those like you, Alex.
Yes, sir.
And our new band, Naerosmith. Like Aerosmith, but different.
Your sweet emotion.
Thank you. See, it's not easy. But you can do it.
Instead of sweet misery. Yeah. Doesn't matter.